curse of Dyatlov Pass. In the winter of 1959, the harsh winds and white blanket of the Ural Mountains converged on 9 young adventurers. Led by Igor Dyatlov, these youths embarked on a challenging mountain route. All were experienced hikers, accustomed to harsh conditions. But this journey would prove to be far more than an ordinary mountain expedition. The beginning, the journey. The group reached their first campsite by train. The journey was filled with laughter and hopeful conversations. Zina, gazing out the train window, turned to Igor and asked, "We know how much effort you put into planning this trip. What will we do when we reach the summit?" Igor smiled and replied, "Of course, we'll take pictures and make everyone jealous." Rustem pointed to the dark forests outside and said, "I hope the weather isn't bad. Do you remember last year's storm?" Lyudmila, mocking Rustem's fear, replied, "If you're so scared, why did you come?" The group continued their journey with jokes and banter. Yet, the scenery outside the train window seemed to suggest movement in the depths of the forest, as if something was watching. The first night at camp. When the group reached their first campsite, they pitched their tents and gathered around the fire. As silence fell, Yuri looked around cautiously and said, "Something feels strange here. It's like someone's watching us." Zina laughed at his imagination and said, "Yuri, your imagination is running wild. Sit down and drink your tea." Yet the howling wind and faint rustling from the forest slowly drained the group's cheerful mood, the storm and the disappearance. The weather suddenly took a turn for the worse. A snowstorm began to bear down on the group. Straying off course, they set up camp at the base of Kholat Shakal, a mountain ominously named Dead Mountain in the local Mansi language. Inside the tent, Igor studied the map and said, "We'll stay here tonight. We need to leave early in the morning." Lyudmila, noting the eerie silence outside, said, "Why is it so quiet here? Not even the sound of birds." Rustem murmured, "Silence in situations like this usually means danger." At midnight, a scream pierced the air outside the tent. The entire group woke up, panicked and looking at one another. Yuri asked, "What happened? Who screamed?" Zina, trembling, said, "There's something out there. It's not human." Igor shouted, "Everyone stay calm. We need to cut the tent and get out." The group cut their way out of the tent and ran barefoot into the depths of the forest amidst the snowstorm. The strange hum following them froze their blood. Separation and fear in the forest. The group scattered in the forest. Rustem, Zina, and Yuri managed to regroup. Rustem, out of breath, asked, "Where's Igor?" "Did you see Lyudmila?" Zina, looking around in fear, replied, "No, but we need to get out of here." Yuri countered, "No, we're not going anywhere. We need to stick together." In the forest, they saw barefoot tracks in the snow. A red scarf hanging from a tree caught their attention. Rustem murmured, How is this possible?" Suddenly, a shadow emerged from the darkness, rushing toward them before vanishing. The group huddled together in terror, unable to move. The discovery of the bodies. A month later, search teams found the group. Bodies were scattered and placed in strange positions. Some had severe internal injuries, such as fractured ribs and skulls, while others were missing their eyes or tongues. One of the searchers, shocked, said, "These injuries couldn't have come from a human. This wasn't an avalanche." Another added, "And what about these footprints? Who walks barefoot in the snow?" Traces of radiation were found on some of the bodies, but no conclusive explanation was ever reached. The end and the mystery. Dyatlov Pass remains a mystery to this day. Theories range from UFOs and military experiments to supernatural forces. The truth has never been uncovered. Question: what really happened at Dyatlov Pass? Was it a supernatural force or a man-made tragedy? The decision is yours.